Welcome back, children. Today we are going to start a new chapter in social studies, chapter 2, Motion of the Earth. This chapter belongs to the geography part of the subject. Let's see the overview of the chapter. What we are going to study in this chapter is the rotation, revolution, seasons, and varying lengths of day and night. Moving towards the first part of the chapter, that is rotation of the earth. Earth rotates on its axis. The word axis means the shape of the earth is spherical in nature. It's like a ball shape. The axis is an imaginary line that runs from the center of the earth to the poles. That means it enters from the center of it runs from the center of the earth, and it creates two poles, the north pole and the south pole. It's an imaginary line. You cannot see it as an actual line, but it's an imaginary line. The axis is tilted at an angle of approximately 23.5 degree. It's not straight line, it's a tilted line. Now when the earth spins, the spinning of the earth on its axis is called the rotation. So when the earth spins on this tilted line round and round, it's called a rotation. Now the time duration that a rotation takes, so the each rotation takes 24 hours. Thus one day on earth is of 24 hours. The speed of rotation at any point along the equator is approximately 1670 kilometers per hour. So the rotation speed of the earth is this much, and it takes 24 hours to rotate, right? Now what happens, what is the cause and the effect of the rotation that takes place on the earth? Let's see in the next slide. Effects of the rotation. The rotation of the earth causes, what it causes? Day and night. When the earth rotates, only one part of the earth faces the sun, while the other part remains away from the sun. Okay, the part that faces the sun receives the sunlight and has daytime. During in that part it's a daytime, while the other part is darkness and has night. This concept of rotation you will able to understand through the video that I will be showing you next. It will make you understand the word axis, how it rotates, north pole and the south pole, and also make you understand how it causes day and night. So let's see the video and make this concept of rotation clear to us. Okay.
Just like the rest of the planets in the solar system, planet Earth moves in two ways: rotation and revolution. Can you see how the Earth is spinning around its axis? This movement is called rotation. The Earth spins around an imaginary line which passes through the poles. If you look closely, you'll notice that the axis is a little inclined, almost 24 degrees. It takes planet Earth 24 hours to complete one rotation on its axis, which is the equivalent of one day. Rotation explains day and night. As you can see, it's daytime in the part of the Earth that faces the sun, and nighttime on the dark side.
I hope you would have understood the concept of rotation through this video. Now we will move towards the other motion of the earth, that is revolution. The earth moves continuously on the fixed imaginary path called an orbit. In rotation we have seen that earth moves on an imaginary line that is called axis, but in revolution the earth continuously moves. This is another type of motion of the earth in which the earth continuously moves on an imaginary path. It is called an orbit. Now the orbit of the earth is not round, but it is elliptical in nature. It's not circular in nature, it's elliptical in nature. That means it's the shape of it is an oval shape. Okay, this is the reason why the distance between the earth and the sun does not remain the same throughout the year. When it is circular in the circular when it is circular in the nature, it would have a similar distance, but it is elliptical in nature, it's oval in nature. That's why the distance between the earth and sun does not remain the same throughout the year. The earth takes 365 and 1/4 day to complete one revolution around the sun. This period is called an year. Now in rotation it takes 24 hours to revolve around the sun, but in revolution what happens, it takes 365 and 1/4 day to complete one revolution, and this period is we called as a year. We have only 365 days on our calendar, and 1/4 day every year is added to make an extra day. This extra day is added every fourth year to the month of February. So now you remember, children, what happens. Totally we have 365 days in our calendar, but every year when this 1/4 day is been added to the calendar, we get one extra day in the month of February, and when we get one extra day in the month of February, that year is called as a leap year. Hence, February has 29 days every fourth year instead of 28 days. A year with 366 days is known as a leap year. Now you understand from where this 29th day in the month of February comes. So it comes that every year 1/4 day is been added, and on the fourth year it comes as a 29th day in the month of February, and that year is called as a leap year. The earth revolves around the sun at the speed of approximately 1780 kilometers per hour. So this is a speed with which the revolution of the earth takes place. The earth makes an angle of 23.50 degree to its axis and 60.5 degree to its orbit. So now what happens, that earth is not straight, earth is tilted in nature. So this tiltation has a very important part. If earth is not tilted, then and it takes the revolution and rotation, then we would not have an equal amount of time. We would have if it is not tilted, then we would not have a different season. Since it is tilted and it gets a different amount of sunlight on it, that's how we get the seasons. The effects of revolution will make you understand in much more detail. The tilting of the earth on its axis causes the varying length of day and night, and also changes in the season. This tiltation of the earth is very important, because if the axis is not tilted, then the seasons would not take place, and the changes in the seasons also would not take place, and we would have the same season throughout the year. So the axis is tilted when the rotation and revolution is taking place. As earth moves throughout the year, it creates the pattern, and this pattern happen over and over again. This pattern makes seasons. A part of the earth the part of the earth which is leaning towards the sun experiences summer, and the part which is not leaning towards the sun experiences winter. In between these two things, we have spring and autumn. If the earth is not leaning or not tilted, we would experience same seasons throughout the year. So let's understand more. What is the effect of revolution? The revolution of the earth on the tilted axis around the sun causes season. When one part of the earth faces the sun, the other part is away from the sun. The part of the earth that faces the sun experiences summer, while the other part experiences the winter. There are four major seasons, main seasons: summer, winter, spring and autumn. When the northern hemisphere experiences summer in June, the southern hemisphere experiences winter at that time, and vice versa takes place. Now I expect that you would know what do we mean by hemisphere. Hemisphere, let's break this word. Sphere means something round in nature. So earth is round in nature, its shape is spherical in nature, and when the axis passes, it passes from one pole to the another pole, okay, and when the sphere is cut into the equal part, there are two divisions that takes place. One is the northern hemisphere and other is the southern hemisphere. Okay, I'll make you understand this in much more detail, the revolution of the earth, through a video. So let's see a video and understand in detail.
The Earth around the Sun is called revolution. The Earth takes one whole year to go around the Sun. Before, people used to think that the orbit of the Earth around the Sun was cyclical, but they weren't right. As you can see here, the orbit is elliptical. Thanks to revolution and the inclination of the rotation axis of the Earth, we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The more the hemisphere is inclined towards the sun, the more directly the sunlight reaches the Earth's surface. It's warmer, and that's why it's summertime. By contrast, the other hemisphere is less inclined, so sunlight is less direct. That's why it's colder, and it's wintertime. Here, we can see that it's summertime in the northern hemisphere and wintertime in the southern hemisphere. The opposite will occur in 6 months. Sunlight will reach the southern hemisphere in a more direct way, and it will be summer, while in the northern hemisphere, it will be winter. Owing to the fact that the revolution of the Earth around the Sun doesn't take exactly 365 days, but 365 days and 6 hours, there are leap years, which have one more day, 366 days. That's why every 4 years, February has one more day, day 29.
I really hope that the video has made you understand the second motion of the revolution. Now we'll move to the last topic of the chapter, that is varying lengths of days and nights. Now what happens that that earth is tilted, and due to the rotation and due to the revolution there is various positions that the earth take at a various point in time in the year. Now the sun rays fall straight over the Tropic of Cancer on 21st June and on 22nd December. Now the sun rays are direct, they are straight, they are really they faces these two lines straight away. So what happens, where the sun rays are straight, the days are longer, and also the nearby regions where the sun rays are straight, they also experiences the longer days. And where the sun rays are slanting, they are not direct, they are not straight, but they are slanting, the days are shorter in the nearby region. Between 21st March to 23rd September, it is summer in the northern hemisphere and winter in the southern hemisphere. It becomes vice versa as the motion of the earth takes place, and the position of this hemisphere changes in the form of when the revolution is taking place, the position of this hemisphere changes. So it becomes vice versa, and then they get a slanting and a straight lies the season over there. Children, I will be making you understand the concept of rotation through the video, through this video, using this picture which is given in our textbook. This entire black circle is our earth, and this line which is passing through the north pole to the south pole from the center of the earth is known as an axis. This is an imaginary line which passes through the center of the earth, and it has two poles, north pole and the south pole. This line which passes through the center of the earth, which we called axis, is not straight in nature, it is little tilted in nature, right? And this is the sun. The part of the earth which faces towards the sun is having a daytime, and a part of earth which is not facing towards the sun is having a night time. Okay, so this becomes the north pole, this becomes the south pole. The line which passes through the center of the earth from this is called an equator. This divides the earth into two equal parts. This entire curve that we see over here is a Tropic of Cancer, and this entire curve that we see is known as a Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, these are called as a latitudinal lines of the earth. We also have a longitudinal lines of the earth, but we would understand this latitude and longitude in the next chapter of the geography. Right now I'll explain again this line which is passing through the center of the line. Center of the earth is known as axis. This is an imaginary line. This line, which is the sleeping line and passing towards the center of the earth, is known as equator. When the axis passes from one pole to the north pole, it forms two poles, north pole and the south pole. The part of the earth which is facing towards the sun is having a day, which is not facing towards the sun is night, right? This line which is passing in from over here is known as a Tropic of Cancer, and this is known as a Tropic of Capricorn. Children, I will also make you understand the varying lengths of a day and night. So, when the sunlight which falls on the part of the earth directly, the area on which the sun rays are falling directly, that areas would be having a longer day. And the areas where the sunlight is passing, sun rays is passing in a slanting way, they will be having a shorter day. Okay, this is the only concept. As the earth rotates, as the earth revolution would take place, it would convert into a different aspect. Okay, so when the sunlight is falling directly, those areas would be having a longer day, and when the sunlight is falling in a slanting way, the earth's area is exposed to a sun rays in a slanting way, then that area would be having a shorter day. So just below this figure there are few questions that is been asked, so I will respond one by one. How long would be a day on a Tropic of Cancer on 21st June? So it would be approximately 14 hours long day on a Tropic of Cancer on 21st of June. Which season do the place of Tropic of Cancer experiences? It would experience a summer as the rays are directly falling on it. What would be the duration of a day and a night? So the duration would be, the days would be the longer and night would be shorter. What would occur on a Tropic of Capricorn on 22nd December? So on 22nd of December, the Tropic of Capricorn would experience a summer season. And how long would a day be on a Tropic of Capricorn? So it would be approximately 14 hours long day would be experienced on Tropic of Capricorn on 22nd December. Okay, so this you would be also getting in a form of PDF in the textbook, so you do that also in your notebook. Okay.